out and asked if you had read the indictment. You said you read it word for word, page for page, right?
I did. I keep up. I love Jackson.
Even though they've not been in court and they've not been found guilty, it's just an indictment at this point.
They don't see it. My first statement was, think of your family. Think about your family. Put your family first.
I never thought in a million years we would have been put in the situation that we were in. Never. Because we went through our whole career doing the right thing.
It's utterly ridiculous to me. Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's special election edition of the Othor Cain Show. I'm Othor Cain. Glad to have you aboard on a Monday evening. This is the day before the big day tomorrow. As most of you are aware, tomorrow municipal elections are being held around the state of Mississippi. Tonight, we're going to focus on some city council races in Jackson, and then in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to talk to candidates that are running for mayor for the city of Canton. So we are glad that you are here, and we're really glad that so many of you watch us live, but more than that, so many of you go back and watch the broadcast after it is aired. And so we're thankful for that. Our goal tonight is to bring you information. So there's a surge of young voices, right? Young voices in Jackson, Mississippi. A surge of young voices that are stepping up to the plate, that are saying, we want to lead. We deserve to be in this space. And tonight, you're going to hear from several of them vying for city council in Jackson. Tonight, we begin with Mr. Jackson, who is vying for city council in Ward 3. So we're going to pull him in. We're going to give him an opportunity to officially introduce himself, and then we'll delve into questions around Ward 3. He is seeking the office of city council Ward 3. Please welcome Mr. Jackson to the broadcast. Hey, sir, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, Othor?
Man, I am doing good. It's an honor to have you on with us tonight. We appreciate you saying that you want to share with our listeners, our viewers tonight. So we really do appreciate that. I want to give you an opportunity to tell our viewers who you are.
Okay, I'm Marques Jackson. I believe in Jackson. I believe in Ward 3 and all that we can make of it. It has made me every bit of who I am today. I seek the possibility that I can serve, not distract or dictate from the city council seat. I'm a man who believes in serving at the will of the people, and with your guidance and support, I look on tomorrow to be your next city council for Ward 3. With Ward 3, we have many things that we are proud of in Ward 3. Make Everest Historic Society, the district that we can also improve on and advance to make the ward overall something that we can compare to Fundering and other places in the city that are thriving, and just making it a beacon of the city, and also making Ward 3 a change for progress, and more than just the negativity that we get from the news media all the time about Ward 3.
Very good. So thank you for that, Marques. Let's talk really though. Why are you running? What do you want to accomplish as the next councilperson in Ward 3?
Just bring stability back to Ward 3. Bring something for the youth to thrive in. Community centers, community initiatives for the youth. That's my main goal, and I guess my mission for Ward 3 is also like just to bring back the good old days of Ward 3. I mean, now we have trying times. We have businesses closing down, schools closing down, grocery stores leaving, retail stores leaving. I mean, the biggest, I guess, thing we have is convenience stores on every corner. So my biggest thing is to bring Ward 3 back to somewhere that you can be proud of and with dignity that we can call home and appreciate, and just be proud to call Ward 3 our home.
That's awesome. You mentioned the word stability, bringing stability back to Ward 3. Expound on that a little bit.
First it would be, I guess, with job create businesses, these small businesses. We have a lot of small businesses in Ward 3, the moms and pops, the restaurants. That I think that we should log on to and just strengthen them to be like better pillars to the neighborhood and the communities. Like I said, the restaurants. I mean, everybody over there, like say, you go to the medical mall, you're gonna find the restaurant, I want bullies and stuff like that to eat at. So I mean, we make them a strong foundation pillar to our community. Also bringing back jobs to the community, living wages, they're paying living wages to the community. We have a lot of industrial parks over there off Main Street that are sitting vacant. A lot of businesses have moved out of them. So just bringing stability back with jobs in the community, tearing down blight properties. That's one of the biggest things. A lot of time, like I say, we don't I guess address where we living at, and we not proud of where we from. You get a lot of renters and people just don't care about their neighborhoods, and that's where we get down to when you have a lot of crime. It's just a matter of self-respect when you go somewhere that's nasty, dirty. You got schools that are overgrown with grass, just like nobody care about the kids. So then you get that mindset from the kids and the youth that nobody cares about them. Then you get that high crime area, just a lot that goes along with it. So it just changed the mentality that somebody cares about them, somebody cares about the community. It looks good. Papers picked up on the street, not old grown properties, not everywhere on every street you look and turn. So it just bringing back the stability from the retail space to the community, to the self-dignity, to everything about Ward 3 to make it different. So when you ride down the street, you'll see neighborhoods and you'll be proud to call it home. You won't be scared to go to the neighborhood. You won't be scared to go to a Mayor's house and visit, because when you go into the community, it's not like a ghost town or you think you're going to get robbed, anything like that.
Got it. You know, I think a lot of people may be surprised, though, how far north Ward 3 stretches, right? You know, it goes north down Northside Drive, huh?
Right. I think now it's one of the most diverse wards in the city. I mean, it stretched, like I say, from Georgetown, Shady Oaks, and they go all the way to the Fondren and Meadowbrook area. I mean, it includes Broad Street. So now you have a more diverse people in Ward 3. You have from, I want to say, like the highest median income in the city down to the lowest. So you have a different, more diverse ward. So now you need somebody that can actually, you know, sit at the table with both sides and still come to a common ground to get the whole ward. I mean, the whole ward need to be developed up. So my main goal, like I said, when I go talk to people all over the ward, the people in Georgetown and Sheffield, they might have potholes, infrastructure, blighted properties is their number one main source that they want to see corrected. Then you go to Meadowbrook and Fondren. I mean, I had people tell me that, hey, they just want the stoplights, the street lights repaired. And replaced. So it's a bigger issue on both sides. So I think when we just sit there and narrow down public infrastructure and public safety, you can't just be a bold with. You got to go to the actual constituents and see what the problems are at that level in their community.
I got it. And I think you're absolutely right. It's a very diverse ward. I want to go, though, to the Jackson Medical Mall with UMC pulling out and other medical services pulling out of the mall. What is your vision in terms of, trying to get businesses to come back to the Jackson Medical Mall, but even more specifically, there are a lot of senior citizens that will come to the medical mall for services who may not have the transportation means. They may have transportation challenges of getting to places where those UMC offices are going. What are your thoughts about trying to ensure that those services either remain or come back to the mall?
Now that would be a good talk, again, with the healthcare professionals in the area. Now we have a lot of, I guess, partnership with the Hines Comprehensive Health Center would be another bigger thing. I think it's time for them to expand and grow. So I think that would be one good pillar and good partner to partner with to bring them to the medical mall, because they have outgrown, I think, where they are now with parking and everything else. I think that would be the perfect next health center to bring to the medical mall.
Absolutely, absolutely. Albert made a good comment, and I was thinking the same thing. Albert says that's the talk we need to talk, understanding this thing from top to bottom. But it's also clear this young man has been listening to the people, and I think listening to the people is very important, right? When you're an elected official, because you can think you know it all, but you have to get to the heart of the people, and it seems like you've been doing that.
Right, and also like say with the youth, I think most time we just want to be harsh on the youth, bring up curfews and stuff like that. But my biggest thing is like say since going around to different community events, it actually going to where the youth are, going to their territory and finding out what they need and what they lacking, and see how can we bridge the gap with that and stuff. Because most time we want them to come to us, come on our territory, but they're not comfortable. So most time they want to open up and talk to us and see what's going on. So my biggest thing, like I say, since I've been campaigning, is actually going to where they are and going on their territory, going on their streets, basketball, getting comfortable with me to understand, like say, where I'm coming from. I'm trying to bridge the gap and bring them the resources that they need to make their lives better and to give them a better chance for the future. So.
Got it. Marques, when you are elected, what would be your top 3 priorities?
First it will be the community events. Community centers. Now Grove Park, Mary C. Jones, those community centers are closed down, and I feel like those are pillar of the communities. When you talk about community events, recreation, for the kids, for the youth, sports, arts, and stuff like that. This is the biggest thing. Even to tutoring, I think we can have tutoring and even job skills, parenting skills at the community center. So my biggest thing was getting community centers back open, and staff, and also I want to bring some kind of mental health awareness to the community center so we can get a first line defense when it comes to mental health issues in the communities. So that will be my main thing from day one is the community centers, and then I will go and look at, like I say, it just depends on what neighborhood, what street going on from already been canvassing. I would look at those problems, like say it depends on we in front of the Meadowbrook. I would look at the lighting, no issues. Or if I'm back in Shade Oak and Georgetown, we're looking at the streets, the infrastructure, the blighted properties, and public safety. And thirdly, it would be education. My biggest thing is make sure that we have a good student-teacher ratio with the students in the classrooms. So if they need to be with the board, JPS school board center, we need to opening some schools back up, or we need to look at this doing something different in the Ward 3. That would be my priority, like I said, making sure that we have a strong foundation for the youth. So that would be my top 3 priorities.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. So I knew Mary C. Jones Community Center was closed down. I did not know Grove Park was closed down.
Correct. It's been closed for years.
I did not know that.
They have like the little community room open, but it's not fully open with the parks and the tennis court, the basketball courts, all this stuff to be fully functioning.
Got it. I think focusing on those things, it does several things. And the thing that comes to my mind quickly is improving the quality of life for the citizens in Ward 3, getting those things back open and getting plugged in. It improves the quality of life. I got to ask you this real quick, though. How do you bring young people into this space that you're working in?
There will be a lot, like I said, a lot of collaborating, talking with the youth, talking with different high school students, college students in the area, from Hines to Tougaloo to Jackson State, bringing them aboard. And like I say, the most important is to be the middle school and high school kids in the community, because they actually know what's going on day to day in the community versus the adults. Because most adults, they at work from 8 hours, 10 hours a day, so the youth are in the community majority of the time. So when I say when you talk to them, you actually get a better feeling of what's going on in the community. Whether it be issues with just everyday things, you're gonna find out more for the kids or the grandma and grandpa that's sitting on the porch every day versus somebody going to work every day.
Absolutely. Albert and I work in the space of community schools within the Jackson Public School District, and it's happening in your ward, right? We're
Right.
working in the community school space in the Lanier feeder pattern. Albert mentions Monte Ellis is building a basketball court at Mary C. Jones, and it's about to become a dependable community center again. How
Right.
does this help your agenda?
Well, now I support that wholeheartedly because once we get things like that and people that the kids look up to, they will be more proactive in coming back to the community centers as a whole. We got to get the kids out the street. So when we get us something constructive to do, besides like videos, looking at the social life on Facebook and bring them actually back to things that we can put our hands on them and the ones that need positive role models that we can actually touch. I think that would be better. But it just the whole aspect of that, like say when they see people that have came from where they came from and made successful of themselves or successful lives or NBA or NFL, that will give them something to look forward to and look up to, that they can do also the same thing coming from the same community, the same neighborhoods, same communities. That goal is not out of reach and not out of touch.
Absolutely, absolutely. We would love to pull you into this community school space personally, because I think it can do nothing but enhance the work that you're already doing in Ward 3. And then, especially when you're successful in your journey as councilman, it can't do anything but help. I'll give Ms. Collins the last question. She says, you speak about the youth a lot. What is your take on working with the youth court judge?
I think that would be very something that I wouldn't mind doing, or something that I would like the hands-on approach with, because I think one thing about working with the youth, we can find a way to correct them, because not all the time they need to be in the criminal justice system. Most time they just need a good mentor or a good mentee background to actually latch on to them and take them up on their wings and guide them. So I think I'll probably be more hands-on with that, because at the end of the day, like I said, a lot of us make mistakes. A lot of us not have been a young child before, a youth before, so we got to understand that most time you can't just throw them away because they make one bad mistake or two bad mistakes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, my 7:15 is not here, so I can actually take a couple more questions for you. Let me ask you this, right? As you've been canvassing, as you've been campaigning and really pulling people into this space of yours, what has been the top concern?
The top concern is pretty much I go around a lot of things just the voting empathy is a lot, because they feel like nothing has been done in years, so they not really connected with the politicians locally at the moment. So it's just really just talking and reconfirming, giving them some kind of assessment that, hey, somebody's listening and somebody actually be take what they're saying and bring it to the table and actually get some things done. When you look around, like say the streets, the potholes, I mean, most streets are in drivable going down. Like say, I can name a few: California Ridgeway, California, Northside Drive. Like these streets are just, I mean, they would pretty much tear your car off. So like when people complain about something for so long and nothing is done, then they pretty much just lose hope in the whole political system and the politicians locally. So like I said, I just been going around taking notes, and just from day one, like I said, I'm just ready to hit the ground running when I do become the next councilman. My personal number is out there, so I'm transparent with that. I'm always going to be reachable. You won't have to go through any secretary for me. My personal cell number is on all my cards now. I take calls all night long from different residents, women, older women. I mean, they just like to talk, tell me about the old days and how stuff used to be different, how they like to see it come back to being the same way like it used to be. It just listening to people and just making a difference and having that drive and fire to actually get something done for the kids, for the youth, for the people, just making a difference. And like I said, I have that fire in me right now, and it's burning, and it's just ready to hit the ground running from day one to actually make a change in the city, in Ward 3 especially.
Marques, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you stepping up to the plate. We got to get to our next candidate. I want to give you just a couple of seconds to give some final thoughts.
I'm ready to be a councilman for Ward 3. I don't have any negative things to say about anybody. I'm running a clean campaign, and I just ready to step up, ready for tomorrow, ready to be get the results in, and just ready to hit the ground running. campaign has been a long, drawn out thing, and it's just nice to know the people in the city that actually still care about the city. They haven't left the city, the neighbors, and just ready to hit the ground running.
All right, Marques, we appreciate you, brother. All the best to you tomorrow, man. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you, Dale.
All right, we appreciate you being here, man. All the best to you on tomorrow. I am telling you, there are a plethora of new voices, young voices that are wanting to lead. Marques is an example of that. There you see his campaign literature there. We appreciate all that he has done. At 7:21, we're going to go down to our next guest, who is seeking the office of City Council in Ward 5. We're going to pull him into the live stream. And like Marques, we're going to give him an opportunity, Mr. McCants, an opportunity to introduce himself. Again, he is seeking the office of City Council Ward 5. Ray, good evening to you, sir. We're going to give you an official opportunity to introduce yourself to our viewers tonight.
Okay, definitely. I'm Ray McCants, Jackson State alum, I Love College of Business. And spring of 2016, I was blessed to have the Michelle Obama graduation. Since then, I've been a business owner. I opened Uncle Ray's Hookah Lounge. I ran that for 3 years. I worked with 97.7, Mr. Man, Quasi, Tamara Cherie. For 3 years, I worked in sales. We ended up setting a sales record while I was over there. And then I work with Infusion Metro 9 and Hines Behavioral Health in the social service space. So I've been able to get a good dynamic and grasp around business and the community. So now I'm just looking to put it all together, and the city council seat just happened to be the thing to do it.
All right, very good. Mr. McCants is running for City Council in Ward 5. Lots of the West Jackson space there. I gotta ask you, as we get started here, there are a lot of challenges in South Jackson and in West Jackson. What are the top challenges you've heard people talk about since you've been on the campaign trail there?
Well, definitely blight. I mean, it's some spaces in Ward 5 that truly feel abandoned. You go door knocking and canvassing. It's not too much walking. You probably going car to car in some neighborhoods. We have some people that are homeowners that have very nice houses, but for whatever reason, the houses around them may have gotten torn down or burnt and then got torn down, and now it's pretty much living across the street from a forest. So bringing back, people and getting our houses developed and renovated can definitely be an aspect that we need done. So our blight, and then another thing is just total, just the de-investment of our assets. So we had, Ward 5 used to, hold the Metro Center Mall, and then we had KJ Shopping Plaza, and we had the district where people were floating into the city. We had the zoo, and then of late we're losing all of those. So right now we just got Jackson State that's pretty much being our stronghold. So it's really just been de-investment in our area that's kind of been doing us bad as well, and speeding.
Got it. It looks like though the Metro Center, or a portion of it, may be coming back online based on recent headlines. What are your thoughts there?
I'm hoping it goes through. It sounds like a great endeavor. He's putting money behind it. Anything at this point that's putting good money and interest into the area, we're looking forward to it becoming a development. If it goes through, I feel like the citizens around us are going to support it. Whenever we had something in the area, we always supported it strongly. And it's just the other areas also have stuff going on. Like we're supposed to be working on the film studio over there as well. So it's looking on the up and up. So it's just being able to help them as the city to make sure that things that they need are provided so that we can have a completion of everything that's going on in the Metro Center.
Why is it, Ray, that you think there needs to be a change in Ward 5, in the leadership of Ward 5?
Well, Ward 5 hasn't gotten anything in the past 9 years of notable mention. Right now, we're holding on to the amphitheater, the $500,000 for the amphitheater. And if you go around to the neighborhood, it's people that don't even know where Livingston Park is. But if you go to the meetings, everybody are talking about speed bumps and the blighted properties and even getting assistance on their home. Ward 5 has a lot of elder people who have been homeowners for a long time. And, the prices of things that went up. So when you on a set income, but you got a problem with your roof, if we can have some type of assistance that can help these people that have been homeowners for 30 plus years and their houses are starting to need assistance. But we have nothing in place for them to get help, or we're not sourcing out things, because Bank Plus did have a grant program to help people renovate their homes. But if you didn't have somebody that was amplifying it in the neighborhoods, then it didn't get to our residents.
Got it. Talk to me about this amphitheater. There's talk about an amphitheater in Ward 5?
Yeah, so the word amphitheater is true. However, if you're familiar with Smith Park, what I've read, it's going to be like a stage setup. You actually can go over to the zoo, and the zoo has an amphitheater across the street. In the center of the zoo, you have an amphitheater. So it's not going to be like the Brandon Amphitheater. It's going to be more so of a stage setup to where you can have a small band maybe present out to a crowded audience. So.
Gotcha. What would be your top priorities as the next council person for Ward 5?
So it's just advocating for the needs that we have. It's a lot of things that people are asking for that they end up having to go ask for themselves. So that's the first thing. So when things come up in the neighborhood, I want to be the voice of the people to face it to City Hall. The second thing is when it comes to like these special interest projects and talking to these businesses and corporations that can come in. We're tearing down the coke plant now, so that's going to be a plot of land that's going to be available. It's going out to find a resource or a company that can come in and bring jobs or bring housing to the area. That's something that's an attraction so people can come out to.
Got it. Richard Bradley is doing some amazing things with Metro Booming, which is in Ward 5. I would like to know your vision about workforce development for young people, and then just bringing businesses to Ward 5, period. It's really hard for that to happen, right? People are scared, or scared may be too strong of a word. Maybe skeptical is the right word.
So to answer your first question, definitely shout out to Metro Boomin. That's another thing I don't feel like get amplified enough is the assets that we do have. So we got Metro Boomin, the workforce training, but we also have Refill Cafe that's right there off the Parkway that does workforce development training as well. And other organizations in the area that offer resources. So as far as businesses, a lot of the times, me being with the radio station and going to go talk to general managers about advertising and things, I built rapport. And a lot of our businesses, our corporate businesses are leaving, not because the revenues aren't there, not because of crime, but because the buildings are dilapidated and the property owners aren't taking care of them. So when Family Dollar left off Capitol Street and Metro PCS left off Capitol Street, it's because they had to file 2 insurance claims because their inventory room flooded out twice because of rain and it came into the building. So at that point, they had no choice but to close. So it's things like that. The same thing with Dollar Tree. Somebody just bought the building adjacent to Dollar Tree and had to redo the entire HVAC. So if you're familiar with Wingstop, across the street from Wingstop, where it's a Shimpy Fashion, so that whole building had a need for new HVAC. So we easily could have lost all the tenants of that building just because they couldn't have proper heating and cooling. So the person that just bought it went and did new HVAC. So we got a better property owner in it. So a lot of the problems that we having with these businesses is the rent isn't matching the property, and then the property owners aren't keeping up with it. So to be able to put a measure in place to where we can have a balance there, I feel like we'll be able to keep our tenants.
Got it. Sylvester Taylor says Ward 5 has numerous challenges. What are some of your attributes, leadership skills, will you bring to the seat to overcome these challenges?
Okay, so my background is in marketing. So one of the things I did in West Jackson was work with Steamers when they were in Westland Plaza. And at the time, Steamers was doing 80,000 year to date. And then when me doing the marketing and helping advocate for them to get the word out in the community, they ended up having a couple $1 million years before they had to leave that location because the property owner wanted to double or triple the rent. So marketing in itself is one thing that we could do for the ward as far as attracting new businesses in and also motivating people to get up and want to value these things more. My second thing is community organizing. So I've been a part of some of the larger events that happen in Jackson, such as Friday on Ferris Street and some of the events with Jackson State. So bringing those same energies to the ward and the attraction of things that we have going on is a leadership skill that I have. And the last thing is just the same thing, similar, but collaboration. I've been able to bring the different clergy units on the Capitol Street corridor together for the first time to my knowledge to now where they have a Capitol Street clergy. Well, we met once, but we're working to grow that out to where we have a Capitol Street area clergy. We can have one in Othor Woods, and that way we have our church organizations working together, and then we can bring in community organizations. Also, the governance council, which is over the social services, and we have 20 different social service organizations that meet monthly and discuss different ways we can continue to impact the community. So,
gotcha. I gotta ask you this though, because we've been talking for years about the Jackson Zoo. I mean, we've been talking for years and years and years about the Jackson Zoo. What are your thoughts? Should more money be poured into that?
My short answer is yes. And when I say more money, I'm not necessarily saying millions of millions. As you may know, I've become a component for the zoo. I joined the Zoo Area Progressive Partners, and I learned of different things that they were doing progressively that wasn't getting necessarily accepted. They had went out and got a $300,000 grant that just needed a signature from the city, and they never got the signature from the city. So that $300,000 could have definitely helped. Also, the flamingos were up for 2.5 years, not because it cost $4 million to get them out, because it cost $4,000 to bring them back out. So we were able to raise that money. We built the shed, literally a shed, and the flamingos are now back out. So when I'm talking about investing back into the zoo, I mean simple things as an advertising budget to let people know that the zoo is open. The zoo has $2 Tuesdays, and respectfully, I don't think it's a better $2 value in the state of Mississippi than going to be glass to glass with a tiger. Now, is the zoo the best thing? No, but another thing we could do is utilize the 52 acres of developed property to bring certain things into it, such as festivals and activities where people can come out. And then that animals would be a byproduct or a bonus of what's going on in the area, such as ice cream.
What animals do we have? What animals are there?
So it's actually 57 different breeds of animals at the zoo. We have a tiger, we have 2 bears, we have orangutan, we have 2 cougars, and this is me 3 months in. So that's off the top of my head.
So there are really animals there, because you know the going joke is that we don't really have animals at the zoo. We have stray dogs and stray cats.
Yeah, no, it's 57 different types of animals at the zoo. And I seen the comment. Definitely shout out to Sheikah Epps and what she's been doing in the area, especially on Livingston Park. Like that's her baby, her project. She cleared it up. We got a disc golf course over there. You can go. The lake has it's overpopulated with fish right now. It tested clear. So shout out to Sheikah Epps. She's been doing her things in War 5 for sure.
That's good stuff, man. And I think that this story needs to be told more, because I think I had almost gotten to the point where I'm like, just close the thing. Nobody is going there. But understanding the $2 Tuesday and understanding that there are real animals there and people are literally doing some real work over there. So it's worthy to take another look at.
And my thing about the zoo is people go when it's ice cream safari, and you get 1,000 people at the zoo. When it's Boo at the zoo, you get 1,000 people at the zoo. So if you have events at the zoo, which is most of the time when people go to the zoo, when it's a reason to go, it works. Another thing is the splash pad isn't working because we won't fund the plumber to fix the little valve that the splash pads need to be able to open up. If you talk to the Boys and Girls Club, they'll tell you they used to they annually take their kids over there during the summer to go to a splash pad. So a revenue source right there is cut because we won't fund a valve being fixed. So
how do you get the rest of the council member on board to put more money into the zoo?
Everything with me typically is showcasing the value. You know, as far as people saying it ain't work, it's not gonna work. It's valuable situations that already show that it works. Like the 2 I just named. You can bring back Zoo Blues, and that'll be another event.
Zoo Blues was a huge event at the zoo.
I mean, and it's not difficult to have a blues event. You know, you can go contact the promoter and work out a deal to where we got a blues event at the zoo. It's simple things that can utilize the 52 acres of developed property. Like people get caught on the animals. It's 52 acres of developed property. And another thing with the animals is talking to the zookeepers. The zoo gonna have to it's already at a minimum funding level. If we decide to close the zoo for 2.5 years, we still gonna have to fund it at this minimal funding level because people are not just accepting animals. You can't just be like, close the zoo, let the tiger out on Capitol Street. So we still have to house the animals until, and the $1.6 million that we're speaking of is gonna have to get spent regardless. So we might as well utilize it and make it a revenue generating source. It might not pay for itself, but it can bring in more revenue than it has. So, and it's working with. If I'm elected, the zoo, I believe, will showcase a lot more value because a minimum advertising budget to tell people they could come would essentially help it. I mean, you understand marketing and getting in front of people.
Absolutely. That's good stuff, man. I mean, you've given me a totally different perspective there. So that's absolutely good stuff. I will only add to the zoo conversation, then we'll move quickly. Is that I remember when JPS was actively involved in sending children there. Some kind of way that needs to be re-established.
And it actually just came back. The JPS just adapted, different schools adopted animals. So some program in there is in place. And another thing, as far as funding, that's how a lot of zoos get funded, is through like school budgets, and you get different school districts that come into the zoo and spend money.
Got it. That coming from Michael, that's funny, man. Hey, listen, brother. So, in terms of, here's what I've noticed on Capitol Street, and we've got to move. But here's what I've noticed on Capitol Street. I've honestly seen the revitalization of neighborhoods. I've honestly seen people moving back to some of those neighborhoods off of Capitol Street. So there's like this resurgence that's happening in West Jackson. Some folks say, it's a part of gentrification. I say it's understanding property value, and people are going and buying up their property and creating some amazing living spaces. What are your thoughts there?
I feel like if you want to buy a house at a great value that's going to increase in the next 4 years, you need to buy a house in Colonial Heights West, which is adjacent to the zoo. You're going to win. If you want to be but the thing is, you're not going to be able to be a slumlord and just hold on to the property, because if I'm elected, we're going to hold you accountable to make sure that it's clean and kept. But if you buy a property in that area, you will be happy in the next 4 to 8 years. It's definitely a lot of movement going in that area one way or another. So
that's good stuff, man. We've got to move to the next one. I'll give you a couple of minutes to just give some final thoughts and ask the voters to support you tomorrow.
Right on. Well, my name is Ray McCants, and I'm going to be the person to amplify the voices of the people in Ward 5 and work collaboratively with the city council to make sure that we have a great city of Jackson. I've already talked to a lot of the people that's running, so no matter who's elected, we can make some changes in the city. I'm asking everybody to go out and vote on June 3rd. And if you're in Ward 5, please vote for Ray McCants so we can get some funding and we can energize the area. Othor, thank you for having me. Have a great rest of the night. Y'all enjoy the other candidates' words and make sure y'all go vote.
Ray, thank you, man. It's good to see you, brother. I was excited to know that you were running. I'm sorry we didn't connect earlier like we talked about, but you've done an amazing job. I've been watching you from afar. So thank you for being here tonight.
My pleasure. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. So Ray is running for city council in Ward 5. I see some of the comments. Vernon Hartley is in that seat now. The guy, Marques Jackson, who we had on before Ray, is running for Ward 3, and Ward 3 is where Kenneth Stokes is, just so that you'll know your boundaries. Up next, we're going to go to Ward 1, and I'm excited about this Ward 1 conversation because that's where I am. I am a resident of Ward 1. Grace Greene is here, and we'll give her an opportunity, just like our other two, an opportunity to introduce herself. Grace, good evening to you, ma'am.
Hey, I am in my car, and because I have been out canvassing, and I'm thankful to have a chance to sit down. I think I was at like 22,000 steps last I looked. My feet are dead. It's like a Disney World day, except it's just been knocking on doors, meeting people. And yes, you do live in Ward 1. I was so excited to see your name on the list because, I'm just going through the walk list, and I'm like, Othor, but then I knew you were in Minneapolis, so I just gave this stuff to whoever else in your household. Somebody else answered the door, and I didn't want to be weird and be like, is Othor here? Like, so you're like, how do you know? And I'm like, it's a walk list.
That would have been more than fine. I am so glad that you are here. Tell me a little bit about why you run.
Yes, well, I jokingly say that I have 2 kids in diapers and no trash pickup for 18 days, and I could not get a response from my council person. I was just like, what's the plan? What are we going to do? When are we going to, we can't keep this going indefinitely. And that just seems like what y'all are doing, and couldn't get a response. And, but I've always been interested in government. I have volunteered for other campaigns and, knocked doors for other folks, and just love, I'm one of those people who loves to listen to political podcasts just for fun. So I have always been interested, and I love Jackson and think that the people of Jackson deserve good governance. I grew up in Jackson. I tell people I grew up in Fondren before it was cool. It wasn't even really called Fondren, I don't think, when I was growing up there. My mom still lives in the same house over there. And my husband and I have lived here for 13 years out of our 14-year marriage, and we now live in Ward 1. And so, yeah, I started it was actually last summer, I reached out to a number of folks and asked them about potentially running, and got some good feedback, and some folks encouraged me to do it. So I decided to kind of, jump into it, and it's been it's an intense race, as you probably know, living in Ward 1 and seeing all what's going on. So
it really has. Listen, I can't tell you how excited I am, because I've not seen this kind of energy in Ward 1 in a very long time, and I am excited about it. To your earlier point, like you, Ashby Foote, who is the current city council, has been unresponsive, and so I certainly believe a change should happen tomorrow, because he has been extremely unresponsive. And it's been so interesting watching him on social media now, touting all of these things. I'm like, where have you been, for all of these years?
Yeah, I was door knocking yesterday, and the election's tomorrow, so this was like less than 48 hours before the election, and there's this guy who 2 massive potholes, like they look like I mean, it looks like bathtubs. Like, I mean, they're just full of water. Like, they don't drain. And it hasn't rained in a few days. They're so big. And he's like, I walk up and he goes, I know who you are. You don't have to give me anything. You have my vote. He's like, I've been calling Ashby Foote for I don't know how long about these potholes. I cannot get a response. He's like, nothing happens. He goes, come stick a sign in my yard. He goes, actually stick 2 in my yard. I live on the corner. He was just like over it. He's the same thing. He's just like, I mean, a kid could like drown in they're just massive. Like, or if you're not paying attention and you hit your car, you're going to cause some serious damage. And they're right in front of his house. And he's like, nobody's doing anything. Like, this isn't just like, and it's one thing to be like, hey, this is the plan. We're going to do this, like, 6 months out, your road is going to get paved. Like, can you just the people can deal with that, but when you're just like feel completely ignored, you're just like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Like, nobody's doing anything to help me. And that's just what I've heard over and over and over. Like, people like, will you come back here and look at this thing in my backyard? Come look at this creek. See what this creek does to my backyard. And the city won't respond, and it's their job to maintain it. And just over and over and over and over and over, and like, we can't get him to call back about this empty lot, that who's supposed to mow it, that whatever it is. It's just, I mean, if you try to contact him, you won't get a response.
Absolutely. I think the city needs new leadership, period. I think the city needs that, and I'm excited about what's going to happen tomorrow in Ward 1. Tell me though, as speaking of a plan, what are your plans? First 100 days, what do you think you'll tackle?
First 100 days. Well, kind of take inventory of what's going on and say, well, what has been reported? What are the needs of Ward 1? What do we need to look at? Let's kind of come up with a plan and see what's going on and what the problems truly are. Also, in the first 100 days, the new mayoral administration will be setting up and hiring and getting new people in place, and just making sure that we know, just making sure that I get to know who those people are, and make sure that they're, before the ones that the council needs to approve, that they are competent and they'll do a good job, and that we will have some good city employees to try to address some of these things. and then getting to know more folks in the ward. I have, spent a lot of time getting to know folks during the election, but, speaking to the heads of HOAs, the heads of neighborhood associations, things like that, to try to, the heads of institutions and other like nonprofits and the heads of schools and things like that, to kind of get the pulse of the ward and what needs to be the plan to put in place, because I really want to be responsive to folks, and I want to advocate for them, and I want to, I'm like you, an entrepreneur, and I have been able to really structure my work so that I can be fully responsive, fully present, and work for the people of Ward 1 during the work week. And so just really get to work and learning these things. And I know initially, if I am elected, the first part will be they start with the budget, start doing that in the late summer. And so, that would be a part of the first 100 days, just the budgeting process, and just really looking, lots of reading, lots of getting your arms around what's going on in the city and what needs to go where money has been spent before, where it needs to be spent going forward, those kind of things. So just getting a really good lay of the land, both in city government and in Ward 1, and the problems, and the city as a whole, because we can't piecemeal it together, the city together, and expect it to thrive. We need to all work together, and it's not like this ward against that ward and we're fighting for resources. Like, a rising tide lifts all boats, and we need to work all together. So just get a pulse of all those things and get to know the other council members. I've worked, as Ray said, to get to know some of these other candidates and some of the current council members. And so, but whoever, if I do win, then just, establishing those relationships to hopefully have a good 4 years on the council.
That's good stuff. What sets you apart from your opponents?
My ability to fully dedicate myself to this job. I don't have another full-time job during the week that will pull me apart. I can be responsive during the work week to people. I will really advocate for people. I was loving what Ray was saying, but if you come to me, or like that guy, I know Greg said he saw the pictures of those potholes and how big they were, and just be like, if as a council person, you're not I'm not like the queen of Ward 1, where I'm like, okay, today I declare that these potholes are filled. But you can advocate for that. You can say, okay, well, who's the director of public works? Well, can they do this? And also not be so siloed just into the city, but say, okay, well, this might not be first up or high on the priority list for public works with what else they've got going on. Can we call Robert Graham and see, maybe this is something that they could handle quicker? Let's work together. Let's collaborate. I don't see them as a competitor. I see it as we got to work together. And so pick up the phone and call Robert Graham and say, hey, is there a way this could be addressed? Because this is really, problematic, some of those serious things. And so, so just being an advocate for the people, and then being well prepared for meetings, and reading through all the stuff, being well prepared, and just also, I've my background, I have an undergraduate degree in social work and a master's degree in economic development. And I have worked in some really hard places. My first about decade of work, I was working in, as an adult, most of my 20s, I was working in Peru. And when I was back in the States, I was working with these women with a fair trade business that we had started. And then now a lot of the work, my volunteer work that I do, is in a women's prison, to work with women to prepare them for release, mentoring them. And so getting programs in place to make sure that we can address some of the issues that led them to be incarcerated so that it won't be repeated, things like that. And so I have worked in some pretty hard places and done some hard things, and with people who are very, very different than me, and groups that are just, yeah. And so just being able to get on the council and just think creatively about things, like what can we do? Like, I think we've just kind of been so stuck in like a certain narrative about Jackson, and people like you and me, like, we love it and we want to see it thrive, and we are like, let's see what we can do to actually make this work together, like work for everyone, and kind of rebuild trust in the city government. And that happens by being responsive to people, letting them know that you're available to them, and remembering that we work for them.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like sometimes you think politicians, like, oh, they're the boss, but honestly, we're the employees. We are hired by the people. And so remembering that it is our job to do the work of the people, not our job to sit up here and be like, well, I'm in charge of whatever, or I don't have to respond to you, or I can just push this over to somebody else. Like, we gotta listen to the people, because they're the ones who put us here, and if we don't do our job, then we don't deserve to keep it,
Well, I really like the sound of that. I like the fact that you laid it out, because we are hiring a lot of people tomorrow, right? We are hiring a lot of people tomorrow. But another thing that I really like that you said, far too often we attempt to work in silos. So I love the fact that you say, pick up the phone, call Robert Graham, because you're not in competition, right? And you're covering the same area. So why not reach out, or you go across the street and say, can you help us? So I really like the sound of that. What though, Grace, do you think is the biggest need in Ward 1?
I think there have been a lot of, so Ward 1 has a lot of population density. We've got a lot of great neighborhoods. We have lost a lot of businesses, especially along the county line corridor and kind of the old Canton corridor. And even on the I-55 corridor, like if you look at DeVille, like the Steinmart building has been empty for like how long? And like, and their car dealerships are leaving and things like that. So I think looking at economic development to incentivize businesses to come back, and looking at and like even like on the county line corridor, I have thought, Jackson for county line, we need to work with Ridgeland, because you can't have one side of the county line succeed without the other. And if one side is like totally like in disrepair, the other side's not going to succeed. So like we should want North Park to do well, because that's going to help businesses on the other side that can help, So I think trying to look at bringing more businesses back, because there are businesses on county line that do really well. If you go to that Chick-fil-A, anytime that it's open, there's like a line out the parking lot. So people will come there. Like, and my kids go to Urban Air. They're there all the time. And there are tons of kids there and that's right there on county line on the Jackson side. And so, if we, I think just looking at those, looking at bringing back some businesses and those things, because if we don't do that, then those buildings, if they sit empty, then they're going to turn into blighted properties. And let's find some creative things that we can do there along county line and along Old Canton, with some of those properties that have now become vacant. And so I think, and even along, I-55, we've got Highland Village and we've got the Kroger, but then, there are some of those other things, like, Books A Million closed. My kids were distraught. They always were like, can we go to Books A Million and grab something? It was like, and they were like, why does it close? Don't they know it's our favorite store? And I was like, they were so sad. I was like, I'm sad too. I don't want another business to close. Like, that's like an anchor store. And,
Right.
So that's what I think for Ward 1, probably that. And then infrastructure wise, creek flooding. There has been no creek maintenance for years. And with the lack of creek maintenance and the lack of like their culverts that the city needs to maintain, and just in the creeks maintaining the riprap, which is a term that I've learned is the rocks and stuff that they put on if you're not in, to keep the water flowing. So that's something that there's just a whole network of creeks in Ward 1. and they have not been properly maintained. And so when those are not properly maintained, it affects all of them, because if one's not draining right, then it makes all the other ones not drain properly, and then it backs up into people's yards.
Yeah,
Doug and Kinshasa Watson were telling me about like did you hear what happened in their backyard? Do you know Doug and Kinshasa? And like their thing like floated away. Like she was like, what in the world? It just left. And so but that same problem is happening all over the ward. So I think those two things for Ward 1, those business corridors that need to be revamped, and then just some basic creek maintenance to deal with the flooding. Because if you do that, then if the creeks will drain, then it'll deal with a lot of flooding. And I know people think we got to have these big grandiose things, but I'm like, just do the basics.
Do the basics. I got to jump in here, Grace, because we're just out of time. But I will tell you, you're absolutely right, especially about the creek. Doug and Kinshasa are dear friends of mine, and I've watched their backyard erode and all the houses along that White Oak Creek.
Yes.
Thank God they got a little relief there. Thank God they've got a little relief. But we got to get out of here. I do want to give you an opportunity to share some closing thoughts and to give you an opportunity to make a final plea to voters.
Yes, well, it has been the absolute privilege of my lifetime to campaign and get to know so many folks in Ward 1 who just love Jackson and want to see it improve and see it be the best that it can be. My website is graceforjackson.com if you want to learn more about me. If elected to the council, I will work hard for you. I will advocate for you. I will be your full-time councilwoman. And yes, I just want to serve every single street, every single precinct in the ward to see us all become the best we can be for the city.
Grace, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you, Othor. Thanks for having me on. I'm so glad. Oh my gosh, another time we're going to have to tell this story about how I thought it was 8 a.m. Oh my gosh. You'll have that against me for the rest of my life. You're gonna be like, oh my gosh, Grace, like, what are you like? The no. So
Absolutely.
I still feel embarrassed about it. I was telling Prentice Franklin, and Prentice was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I know he knows he's friends with you. And he was like, Grace.
Grace, thank you. Glad to have you here.
Okay, good to see you. Have a good night. Y'all go vote tomorrow. I'd love to earn your vote. Send me a text or an email if you have a question for me tonight. I'll answer. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Take care. Take care of yourself. Man, I'm excited about what's going to happen tomorrow in Ward 1. I just know we're going to see change in Ward 1, and I'm excited about it. Another lady that's vying to make a change in Ward 1 is going to come join us now. Jasmine is here. We're going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself. Jasmine Barnes is here. Give her an opportunity to introduce herself, and we'll jump into the conversation with her. Jasmine, good to see you. Good
to see you.
Glad you're here. Talk to us. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Yes, absolutely. So, of course, my name is Jasmine Barnes. It's such an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me to come on tonight. I'm so excited about the opportunity to be able to represent Ward 1. I'm a lifelong Mississippian. I grew up in Canton. I moved to South Jackson at an early age. And when I graduated high school, I went to Ole Miss and graduated from there. And when I relocated to this area, I pretty much built my life in Jackson. I invest in Jackson. My kids go to Jackson schools. And I'm just super excited about the opportunity to be here. I'm a certified public accountant. I have a decade of audit experience in public, private, and governmental accounting sectors. And I have developed this 5-pillar approach to address key issues that have been impacting Jackson for a very long time. I'll be honest, I never found myself, I honestly never thought about being in politics per se. I did spend years just kind of following the headlines. There used to be a time where I would read like the agendas for like the city council minutes and different things like that, because I was so invested in the city. And honestly, it took years to kind of build up that the kind of that courage, I guess, to go out and step out there and run. And so I'm just honestly super excited. I'm honored by all of the support that I've had, and I'm looking forward to just answering whatever questions you have.
Very good. I'm excited that you are in this space. I've been following you. I've not had an opportunity to make any of the forums, but I've been watching clips and I've been following you. And I was like, who is this Jasmine person that's doing all of this stuff? I don't know where the city of Jackson is as it relates to an audit. I know that there are a lot of towns and cities across the state of Mississippi that are behind, on their audits. I don't know where Jackson is, and I want to put that out there first. But I do want to know, with your background in with numbers and accounting and all of that, how do we reposition the city of Jackson to make our audits a priority and a balanced budget a priority? How do we re-energize folk in Jackson in that space?
I honestly think that it starts with setting that expectation with administration and just getting people to truly see how vulnerable we are operating as a city. Because even when I talk about fiscal responsibility, it's so much bigger than audits. I mean, it's even beyond just how we even treat our proposal process and how we handle bids and contracts. I mean, so there's a whole wide range of things, but I definitely think that us taking ownership as a city and saying, okay, we're going to start getting our audits done on time. Now, realistically, we have a budget cycle coming up. But if the city has been behind on the past 4 or 5 years, I do think that it's a little unrealistic to expect them to be on time. But what that starts with is just making sure that those departments that are utilized for, preparing those reports, making sure that they are fully staffed. And if they need some help, like if they need to outsource and maybe get an accounting firm to prepare the financial statements to be audited, then we need to go ahead and start setting those expectations, because realistically, every single issue that we have in this city is tied to funding, whether it's because we don't have the funding or we're not in a position to receive the funding. And so that's really where all of our credibility and our leverage lies, because even with our audits being behind, the city council, they vote on budgets on an annual basis. And so those budgetary accounting is really like the foundation of governmental accounting. And so you really want to make sure that you're being as accurate as possible. And so, I mean, with COVID being back in 2020, we're not in a position to where we can just kind of afford to be behind and kind of creating this cycle of vulnerability. And so we really do collectively, between the city council and administration, we really do have to step up and making sure that we're giving our residents the city that they deserve. And that's truly by, at minimum, just focusing on what we can do internally.
Got it. That's good stuff. Now, I've been hearing people, and you mentioned it once, I've been hearing people talk about your plan, this 5-pillar comprehensive plan. And Rashad said it's the best thing that's out there, right? So Rashad, and I'll tell you a story about Rashad for another day, but he says it's the best thing out there. It's a way to hold you accountable. And can you give me the elevator pitch of your 5-pillar plan?
Sure. So honestly, that 5-pillar plan, I built that from the eyes of a resident, just with all of the complaints. And so realistically, I do think that until we strengthen the financial structure of the city, we really won't be able to move forward. But beyond that, you have infrastructure, and infrastructure is like the pipeline of the city. If you don't really have good infrastructure, you really can't do anything else. And so realistically, I believe that splitting it up into short-term and long-term improvements, we can build our credibility in that short-term improvement process. And what that means for city council, when we're actually getting ready to vote on that budget and we're having those budget hearings, making sure that we're actually asking administration, hey, how much money are you looking to actually allocate towards internal departments? Because even if we were to use or utilize contractors in order to restore our infrastructure, we still need the city to maintain that. And so funding needs to go both ways. We need to make sure that we're not relying so heavily on outside help. But even beyond that, then you have public safety. And so with public safety, you of course you have policing. And so making sure that you're supporting those efforts. And so even Chief Wade is doing a really good job of leveraging those resources between leaning on what the JPD has, making sure that they utilize technology, but then he's also establishing those relationships with Hinds County and with Capitol Police. And so then also you have the animal control. We haven't had an operating shelter since 2021. And so then beyond that, of course, we have traffic solutions, just making sure that we're empowering and allowing funding to go to our neighborhood associations so they can actually make improvements in their neighborhoods. And then, of course, you have economic development. And naturally, if you improve the fiscal responsibility, because if you improve the financial structure of the city, then you can actually create local incentives for people to actually want to invest in Jackson. But we really can't do that right now because we don't really have the leverage to do that. And so naturally, if you improve the fiscal responsibility and then go into infrastructure and public safety, then naturally the economic development is going to increase as well. And then, of course, you have infrastructure. I mean, not infrastructure, but you have recreation, which is really going to be vital to our youth actually having opportunities to be able to do things, outside of school. And so for me, I do think that all the issues are interconnected because sometimes we try to address one issue, but you really have to address every single issue. And so I think that taking ownership of something that necessarily hasn't really been the strong suit of Jackson for a very long time, but taking ownership of that and saying that we can actually get our city together and give our residents the city that they deserve and us actually functioning at our basic. I actually do think that, we deserve to do that for our citizens. And so I believe that with my decade of audit experience, I definitely can contribute to, using my expertise to hold administration accountable and just making sure the residents get what they deserve.
Very good, Jazz. I like the sound of that. It seems like it's well thought out, and you've put some action into developing that. I really like the sound of that. I gotta ask you though, just as it relates to building relationships on that council, right? Because no one council person is on an island by themselves, right? Building relationships. What's your strategy there?
I honestly think that I've already exhibited that now, because even the way that I articulate the issues, nothing that I've said has really been negative. I haven't really said anything personal, but we are behind on our audits. We are, allowing the city to, operate out of a place of vulnerability. And even when we make decisions to vote on contracts, knowing that we don't have the right amount of bids, I think that just sticking to the fact and the logic and just bringing my audit and finance expertise and just keeping it respectful, that's really the only thing that I can do, because it's really crucial for me, for my residents and really citizens of Jackson, just to know that I'm going to always approach things from logic, and I'm never going to take anything personal, and I'm willing to listen to anybody because I'm truly committed to making sure that Jackson thrives.
All right, very good. Coming up in just a few moments, if you're just joining us, we'll have a full conversation with the candidates running for mayor in Canton, just running a couple of minutes behind. But we are enjoying this conversation with Jasmine Barnes, who is seeking the office of City Council Ward 7. I'm sorry, Ward 1.
Ward 1.
I had Ward 7. I was thinking Ward 7 because I was like, oh, nobody is on tonight from Ward 7. That's what I was thinking. But Ward 1, which I think happens to be the best ward in Jackson, is Ward 1.
Well, I love the sound of that.
So Jasmine, I really like your energy, and I really like your approach. Oftentimes, though, I find people really don't know the role and responsibility of the office that they are seeking, right? They make all of these plans and they make all of these promises, and they have no idea that they can't deliver on that because they don't know what it takes.
Yeah, right? I think that's fair.
Talk to us a little bit about the role and the responsibility of a city council person.
Absolutely. And so, of course, you have the mayor, they operate the city, but the city council is going to be responsible for making sure that the contracts are legitimate. So anytime you want someone that wants to do business with the city, just making sure that's legitimate. But budgeting, that budget is really one of the most crucial aspects of the city council's job, because that is where the mayor and city council are presenting numbers, and they're presenting their expectations on how the city is going to operate on a yearly basis. And so having someone that's going to come in and be able to be a little bit more proactive in that process. So just for example, let's just say when it comes to grants, if I was sitting on the council right now, I would just be asking on a quarterly basis, where are we on our grants that are getting ready to expire? Just making sure that we actually take those type of approaches instead of being so reactive to different things. And so that budget is going to be key, because that budget is presented on an annual basis, but then administration will also present the budget and try to make different amendments. And so you want to make sure that the numbers that they are presenting and the things that they're asking for, that they have justification for that. And so I think that just really holding their feet to the fire, but being in a more just making sure that it's very collaborative. That's the main role of the city council. But then also when it comes to the mayor, and when they have like different appointments, when they appoint different heads, the city council will actually be responsible for verifying that. And see, what you could easily do in that, if you feel like there's someone that's being nominated for a position and they're not qualified, I mean, now you have to do a little bit of work, right? But I mean, taking that initiative and even to just say like, hey, you're expecting this person to be in this position, but they're not even qualified for that. Why exactly are you doing that? That's within the authority of the city council. And right. So again, it's based on the opinions of the residents. And I mean, I really could go on and on, but I think the biggest thing for me is just making sure that people really do understand that it takes a collective effort between the mayor and the city council. And I think that the more transparent we are, the more educated that our voters are, the more that they understand about what the mayor does versus the city council. I do think the more hope that they will have, just to know that Jackson really can get out of this position that they're in now.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Jasmine, I could spend the rest of the night
I could too.
I really like your approach.
Thank you.
Opportunity. I'm so excited about tomorrow, because I know tomorrow will bring change to Ward 1, and I cannot tell you how excited I am. But we got to move to our next conversation. So I want to give you an opportunity to just make a final appeal to the voters. I know you've been out knocking doors tonight. So here's your chance to make a final plea.
Yes, honestly, I am just honored for the opportunity to even be able to represent Ward 1. And I just can honestly promise you that I will always make sure that I look from the eyes of a resident. I'm going to always make sure that I listen to everyone, no matter who you are, what you believe in. I'm always going to make sure that I stay solution oriented, and I am very assertive at times in what I believe, but at the same time, I am really passionate about fighting for my community and making sure that Ward 1 and the city of Jackson truly just gets the representation that it deserves. And what that means is making sure that we take ownership and accountability of what we can control. And there's a lot that we can do internally. And so I really just hope that I'm elected, and I promise to always just remain transparent. And I'm going to do my best to make sure that I do what I can to make sure the city of Jackson thrives.
Amen. 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 Let me tell you something.
Thank you.
So while I think the mayor's race is important, right? The race
Absolutely.
to watch tomorrow is the race. Thank you very
Absolutely.
much. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a great evening.
You too.
Appreciate that. All right, so now it's time for us to turn our attention to the race in Canton, Mississippi, because this Jolie and Michael lady is going to make me snap a little bit. We can tell time, and we gave each of those council people fair and the same amount of time. We're just running behind. But I have a clock here, ma'am. I know how to tell time, so you don't dictate anything here. But welcome to this conversation tonight. So we're going to bring in our candidates that are seeking the office of mayor in Canton, Mississippi. Chip Matthews is here. And
Hello.
Taylor is here as well. Good evening to both of you.
Hello, hello. You got me?
I got you, Chip. We got you. You don't have, we don't need another sound check. You've already done that. Come on, man. Stop all that foolishness. Tim, you need to unmute yourself. Tim, you're on mute, brother. All right, hang tight, Chip. We got to get Tim back into the stream here. All right, so as we what we endeavor to do tonight with Tim and Chip, I will say that we also invited Mr. Peeples to be a part of this as well. He declined our invitation tonight. Tomorrow's a big day in Canton, Mississippi. Tomorrow is a big day. This mayor's race is very, 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 very important. And tonight we've got two gentlemen who have a passion for Canton. They have a heart for Canton, and they are vying for the top seat in Canton. I think Tim is there now. Well, he was there. He just went out again. There he is. All right, Tim, can you hear us? I think Tim is on mute. So somebody needs to unmute his phone. Oh, all right. So
okay.
They're having some challenges there. So we're gonna go on and give them an opportunity to get situated. So I will say this again. We did invite Mr. Peeples. He declined to be a part of this show tonight, but we thought it was very important to do this again and to give the voters in Canton an opportunity to look at the candidates side by side and to make a choice when they go to the polls tomorrow. I will also say this before we get into our line of questioning. On Saturday, Judge Will did rule. We made some posts about it, but we didn't have an opportunity to talk about it. So Judge Will did rule, and he ruled against Camelia Walker as it relates to her contesting this mayor's race. So he did rule against her. But we also learned late today that they did file an appeal to the Mississippi Supreme Court. I will say this: maturity teaches us when it's time to let things go. Maturity teaches that, right? Maturity teaches us when it is time to let things go. Now, let's move into our conversation. So, Tim, can you hear us, brother?
I can. Can you hear me?
Right, very good, very good. All right.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Chip. Thank you.
All right, so come on, guys. We got two great guys here that are running for mayor in Canton. They're vying for this top seat, and we're glad to have them here and glad to have them side by side so that you can get a feel for what's happening in Canton. So we're going to ask the same questions to both of you guys. And so the first question, I would say, why are you running? Let's just start with the basics. Why are you running for mayor in Canton? And Chip, I'll start with you there. Why are you running for mayor?
Well, I'm running for mayor of Canton because I would like to see the town rebuilt. But and my plan started out that we needed to get more small businesses into the area and build the square and fix the flooding and work all the other problems and just get some of the corruption out of our town. As you know, I always say it's corrupt, but anyway. But the other day I went out to the Amazon, the mega site. Everybody needs to go out there and see that. Generational wealth is about to come into Canton, and I want to be a part of it, but it's also going to affect West Jackson. It's going to affect Flora. It's going to affect the rest of Madison County. It's going to make all the way to Carthage. Y'all do not believe what's about to hit when that $10 billion get all spent. And right now, I went out there the other day, there was over 1,000 trucks coming in. Y'all, we've got to get ahead. We've got to get the right thing going. And I believe that I'm the best person to come in and start to fix what needs to be fixed in Canton, because we've had some bad leadership, and you know, and
all right, so that's no answer. So we'll move. We're going to give Tim an opportunity.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I don't want to get into bad leadership just yet. I'm focusing on why you're running. Tim, you're up. Why are you running for mayor?
Yeah. Good evening. And as you know, that I'm not a spring chicken to this. I started from the bottom up to get to this. I'm not.
we're having some audio issues with Tim there. There you go. There you go, Tim. There you go.
And as I indicated, I'm not new to this. I started out at school, and after that, I decided.
Oh wow, Tim, I'm sorry, man. Your audio is really bad. It's really, really, really bad. We can't hear you at all.
Really?
There it is.
There it is now. You're going in and out. All right, let's try it again.
Okay, again, as I indicated, that I'm no spring chicken. Started out as
Yeah, that's tough. I don't know if you need another device. It seems like you're doing it from your phone. That's what it looks like. But it's creating some challenges for you because you're going in and out. You're going in and out. In and out. We're gonna let you work on that for just a bit, and I'll go back to Chip while y'all kind of adjust that feature there. I'll go back to Chip. So Chip, so man, I'm excited that you're running. I know that you have a heart for Canton. I know that you have a passion for Canton. I guess I want to ask you just about, you were on when those city council candidates in Jackson were talking, and several of them talked about small businesses, right? Several of them about bringing businesses to their wards. I want to talk to you about bringing businesses to Canton. What is your plan? And I'm just talking solely your plan. What is your plan to bring businesses to Canton?
Well, as you know, I am a small businessman. I own a restaurant out at the reservoir. Let me give me a cheap plug-in, Acme Pizza. And what we need to do on the square is we basically have the same thing as the Renaissance Mall sitting in Canton, already built. It just doesn't have anybody in it. So I'm going to talk with business people and get them in, because Canton, it's growing so fast. All this is going to grow. And when they start building the houses that go with this, what's going on out the mega center, it's going to be another level. I mean, I do not know if on my radio show, can even describe how big this is. And Othor, I'd love for you to ride up there and go look at it, because it is the most amazing thing you've ever seen. And you just realize generational wealth is about to hit. And all those people that are coming in, 15, 20,000 people to work out there, they have got to have a place to sleep. They've got to have a place to stay. They got to rebuild a whole city. I mean, Canton from the interstate all the way to the square, that's going to get completely rebuilt. In 4 years, I would say you won't even recognize it. I swear to God.
That's exciting, man. That's exciting. I do need to go see that Amazon development. That is very exciting. I believe that small businesses, though, are the heartbeat of any community.
Correct.
I think that small businesses are the heartbeat of any city. So I am anxiously awaiting to see, what small businesses are developed as a result of Amazon coming and this other plan. I think Tim is there. Tim, are we good now with audio?
I hope so. Can you hear me?
Very good. There you go. You sound good, man. Sound
okay.
Good. Let's go back to question number one with you. Why are you running?
Well, Othor, I started from the bottom up. I started off as a school board member. I left that and went into being an alderman for 5.5 years. So the blood, sweat, and tears I've done. I'm not showing up every now and then running for office. I've been consistent in what I do, what I've been doing, and I'm going forward. So therefore, the reason I'm running is because I see the challenges that this city is going to face. And I want to be part of solving those challenges as we go forward.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Thank you for continuing to offer yourself as a public service. The next question was about bringing businesses back to Canton, Mississippi. And I love what Chip said in terms of redeveloping that square. And he talked a lot about Amazon coming. But I would love to get your thoughts. How would Tim Taylor create a space for businesses to come to Canton, come back to Canton, to be a part of what's happening?
It's just like any fundamental process, Mr. Cain. You got to clean it up first. When you clean it up, it becomes attractive and people will come. That's what we have to do. And along with cleaning up our city, we're going to change the image of our city. Now, I know people are focused on the square. I am too. But we have to look at more than just the square. We've got to get this whole city involved in the success that it can achieve. And we're not going to be a one compartment mayor. We're going to look at everything in the city and try to be progressive, aggressive, and productive.
Very good. You know, it's no secret that, and it's not just happening in Canton. Here lately, I've talked to the mayor of Anguilla. I've talked to the mayor of Greenville. I've talked to the mayor of Macomb. So it's not just unique to Canton, but it
Right.
is also no secret that crime is on the rise in Canton, and guns getting into the wrong hands, and these homicides are high. I do want to give both of you an opportunity to address from your vision how and what you would do to get a handle on crime in Canton. And Tim, we want to start with you. What are your plans to really get a handle on crime in Canton?
In the city of Canton, we know that we have such a small city, but with an irate amount of crime. Number one, we've got to boost up that police department. We've got to put bodies in that department. Now, by having bodies in the police department, will that deter crime? It will deter it, but it still doesn't help with controlling human behavior. There are a lot of things that we gotta get done. Number one, we got ministers in the city, and of course, this election is over with. But regardless of who wins, our ministers, our religious leaders have to come together and say, we've got to do something a little bit different. We've got to get into these young people's heads, sit before them, and show them the way. When I was a younger man, Mr. Cain, there was a program called Scared Straight, and it scared me. And I think I got on the right track. Look, crime, we see it as a black situation right now, but it doesn't care whose house it creeps into. So if we don't get a hold of it now, God knows where this will lead. Number one, we've got to beef up our police department. And the current administration, we didn't do enough to get the police officers in here that we need. So now we're going to go after what we need. We're going to get creative. And we're just not going to recruit in Canton. We're going to go to some of these colleges, community colleges, set up booths, and sell Canton, what we do and what we do a little bit different from other cities.
Very good. Thank you very much. Chip, same question, brother. Talk to me about your plan for reducing crime in Canton.
Well, for starters, right now we're only running 3 officers per shift in Canton. It is a sad situation, and I don't understand why the mayor and the board of aldermen haven't found the money to get more people on the ground. Because I mean, just the other night you had a fight in the Arby's that cleared out all the Arby's and took out half of the Love's truck stop just to arrest one guy with a gun who had lost a dice game in town and shot somebody. And this is going on all over town. And you don't have the resources. If there's 3 cops per shift and 3 are in there, the whole town is wide open. And I mean, you can't watch the interstate. You can't watch the area up by Germantown, you know, because all that's there. And then you've got an apartment complex there. And then you have the links, and you have the one that we've been talking about that hadn't been annexed. You've got to provide enough police for everybody. And the only thing to do is to hire. And, you're going to have to cut as much other resources to make that happen. It's got to happen. If the town is not safe, money will not be safe. And that's period. It's money goes where it feels safe. And it's got to get safe.
And so if I'm understanding you correctly, your plan then is to beef up the staff, because I didn't just really hear that.
Really beef up. I mean, I don't need a mayor's assistant if I can put another police on the ground. You know, that's basically what Truly did. He had a mayor's assistant. He brought in a COO. I don't know why we brought in all these people and paid them when you got to have boots on the ground.
Got it. Thank you very much. I want to go to back to jobs, because I think jobs are important. I also think creating jobs reduces crime, right? I believe that there is a direct correlation between crime, homelessness, and jobs, right? I think those things are intertwined. So can we go back to how do we get these young people employed? How do we get these kids off the streets? Give them something creative to do. Let's talk about the connection between crime and jobs. Chip, let's start with you there.
Well, what I see right now is with the small businesses, and somebody said, Chip, we need better paying jobs. Small businesses create an atmosphere for the youth to have jobs and for the young adults. But at the same time, with the money that's coming in for the new Amazon site that's supposed to be generational wealth that we'd never see before, we need to get a community development program, maybe partner with Holmes Junior College to teach coding. But I was out there, you'll need an army of 200 people just working on air conditioners at that site. When you go out there and see this, you've seen something you've never seen before. And we need to be training people. We need to work with Holmes Junior College. They need a campus in Canton that would provide staff. I mean, maybe it needs to be a 2-year college that's part of the Canton public school system, to where you take college courses and courses to learn mechanics and stuff like that. This place is at a level that you're not going to believe. And I've been out there, and I am super excited about the money, the opportunity for everybody. It's generational wealth. It's something that you've never seen before. I mean, I go out there and I get goosebumps looking at it. I could go out there and start selling hot dogs and be a millionaire in a year.
All right.
I swear.
Very good. Very good. Tim, let's go to you. In terms of connecting crime to jobs, you know, how do we employ these young people? How do we get them off the street, get them employed?
You know, you said the magic word earlier, creative, being creative. We've got to get creative. And it's just not going to start in the businesses. It's going to start in the community. It's going to start with our churches. Look, I hope with these churches and these religious leaders, they're talking to their young people, these young people and their parents inside these churches. And beyond that, we've got to take it to the street. Any politician that thinks he's going to sit up in an office and just sit there and do nothing, no. These people want to know, do you see me? Do you hear me? Does what we say matter? All those components coming together, I think we can truly make a difference. I am a boots on the ground type of individual. I like to go and talk about the issues and not just exaggerate on them, but talk about them and paint the realistic picture of what's truly going on. Creativity is going to be the key to the success that we're going to have going forward in this particular city, in the city of Canton.
All right, very good. You know, Tim, you were a member of the school board. I think that's where you and I first connected when I was coming up covering what was happening on the school board.
That's correct.
I think education is a part of some of the issues that's happening in Canton. And I believe that the Canton Public School District needs more support. I think it needs stronger support from the leadership in Canton, stronger support from parents in Canton. Let's talk about, Marques is talking about Canton Public Schools now. Let's talk about the school district in Canton. As the mayor, what is your role in terms of supporting the school district? Tim, we'll start with you.
Effective communication. I'm a product of Canton Public Schools, and I've heard all the negative things that Mr. Matthews has said about the Canton Public School system. Look, what goes on in Canton Public Schools goes on in a lot of the school systems throughout the state of Mississippi. Can just get exploited more. There's an exploitation process to say what's going on bad when other things are going on other places and nobody's ever talking about it. Look, again, I'm a proud product of Canton Public Schools. I see the growth. I see all the improvements. Nobody's talking about where they are. They're talking about where they've been. And we're going to stay focused and proactive in what we're doing in Canton. And as mayor, I have a relationship with all 5 board members over there and plus the superintendent. So that gives me a segue into the communication aspect of it. So we're proud. We know we're going to get better. That's what life is about. The challenges that they've met, they've done well with them, and they're continuously improving. And that's what we're going to bank on, the improvement going forth.
All right, Tim, thank you very much. Chip, same question to you. As mayor, what's your role And what should your relationship be with the Canton Public School District?
Well, he's, Tim kind of got me a little wrong there because some people say close the school district. Some people say do it. Now that I understand more about the money that's coming in, we have got to get the leadership program over there a little bit better. The students that are there, they are achieving good things. And when you look at like the sports department, where football and basketball is achieving, these people are actually, they're proud to be in school. They're proud to be at Canton School. But you can't have the situation where school grades are being changed for people to get by. It's been an F-rated school district for a while. It got a C for a little while. And when it got to that C, it was because one of the other candidates that were running earlier, who's still trying, changed those test scores.
I gotta state the question for you again, because you've not answered it at all.
Okay.
The question is your relationship as mayor. What is that relationship with the school? You're citing all these bad things, but I'm talking about your relationship as mayor with the school district.
Well,
I'll tell you this: if the mayor is not a cheerleader for the school district, I don't know what the hell is going to happen.
Well, the mayor has to be a cheerleader for the whole town. But that the school district. Okay. Let's get excited. Let's clap.
Focus on the question.
Well, the school system has got to improve. You've got to get over there and work it. I don't know how to explain it anymore. I mean, I'm not an educator. I'm not going to be a doctor, this, that, the other, but the board and the mayor appoint that school board, and that school board has to have a vision to take it forward to help everybody achieve a better goal. I mean, I will be over there and supporting the kids, but the kids have every opportunity there to be very successful. We probably put more money in each kid there. I don't know how to tell you how I'm going to relate to it the way you say. I'm not a teacher, but I am a supporter. I would be over there and be a part of it and would do anything in the world. And I mean, I'm a boots on the ground kind of guy. As I learn what's not working, I find a way for it to work. And I just see the things that are good there. But, and then right now I see that the athletic program are the kids really trying. It helps the whole community when you're winning. And so you got to get the school to where they're winning. But the grades are a problem. The grades are a problem.
Got it. All right. I want to pull in some comments from some of our viewers today. I want to go back to a comment that Debbie made. Something about, and I can't see it now, Dr. J. Something about maybe joining Canton schools with Madison. I want to demystify that that statement. Debbie says we need to stop the taxing of Canton to support a segregated school system. We need to join Madison County school system and desegregate our community. Well, so I'm going to take part of this, and I'll let y'all chime in on it. And I'm not a candidate. But number one, the mayor has no control of that. I want to be very, 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 very clear. That's not a responsibility of the mayor. Number two, that would take legislative action, right? It's not even the responsibility of the Madison County supervisors. That would take legislative kind of action. And even more than that, that just does not make sense. That's just my perspective. It makes absolutely zero sense because it's not really about segregation or desegregation there. Tim or Chip, y'all have thoughts there? Either one of you?
Yeah, let me chime in on that, Othor. Listen, the mayor of the city of Canton role with the Canton Public Schools board will be strict communications. Look, there are 5 members over there on that board. 2 are elected, 3 are appointed by the Canton Board of Aldermen. The mayor has no say-so other than to request a motion, and if you get a unanimous number of votes, you let the motion go, you pass it, or the mayor can veto it. 1 or 2. Now, any other conversations, it will be up to that board and that superintendent to invite any mayor in for any conversation. All this other stuff, I hear Chip say he will be more supportive, but the question is, have you been supportive? We want to know where you are now. We want to know where you've been lately and what have you done lately. Look, the people in Canton, have to stop accepting people who show up every 4 years to run for the major office in the city of Canton and bring nothing with him. There's no expertise. There's nothing that he can point to say that he would make a decent anything because he hadn't put himself out there. You talk about the sports, and I think that's a side way of being demeaning. But yes, great sports programs over there. Also, the young lady you just had on a few minutes ago, the CPA that graduated from Ole Miss, she's from Canton. Her dad and I are best friends. Look, they're jewels in the rough in the Canton Public School District. The attorney that just represented me in this voting situation, a Canton Public School product. So you may want to highlight the sports, but we know the academics are there. It's just that we get exploited for the negative.
If I'm going to get attacked and be told that I'm worthless, Tim, that's not really cool.
You.
You just said that
I'm only using what you said.
You said I can't do it. I come every 4 years. I lived in Canton all my life. I've lived here 1 year longer than you. 1 year longer than you, because I'm a year older than you. And don't say me. I've put my money where my mouth is. I've opened businesses on the square. You got to have multiple businesses to get up there and rebuild that square. The city, it's going to get better. You tell me, like last night I was listening to your podcast and you said that we're about to hit a storm in Canton where the Board of Aldermen and all that, and there's going to be a money problem and a money crunch. Why don't you explain to me what that means? Because you're a member of that Board of Aldermen and you brought up that subject of that money that's missing.
But I never said anything about a money crunch.
So hold on, guys. So this is my show, so I'm asking the questions here, all right?
Okay.
So we'll get back to that in a minute. I did have a comment up because I do want to give Chip an opportunity to address it. It was a comment about the grade, and I think Anderson or Harris made the comment. There was a comment about an F at Nichols Middle School. Right, there we go. That's right. Okay, Ms. Harris, my treat. So even with the school, Nichols, being an F-rated school, the Canton Public School District still maintained a B rating. Canton has been a successful school district for several years. And Chip, I think that's directly to your comment that the district or the schools are failing. What do you say to that factual information there?
Well, that factual information may be fact, but it seems like we're always working on the school. For a while there, it was an F, it was a D, it was a minus, it was a B. Then all of a sudden, we found out we were having a grade scores being changed and test scores being changed, and issues were going on over there. What it is currently is what it is currently. It has improved. But when the lady when you and I met at the school board and they were doing the Cassandra Williams case, she was doing a good job. But they ran her off.
Yeah,
they ran her off.
To do with you, right? But I just want you to know where we are, right?
Well, yeah, it's getting better.
Right. According to what works in the district, Canton is at a B. The district overall is at a B, and I think. And Chip, we've said this before. Instead of just talking about where we were, let's talk about where we are right now. And right now, according to that stat, the district is at a B. So both of y'all talked a little bit about money, and I want to go there. Chip, talk to me about the budget for the city of Canton, and what would you do to ensure there's a balanced budget and that all of the cylinders are working in the city? I'm talking about you. What would you do?
Well, for starters, you only can spend what is in your wallet. That's all you got. So you're going to have to look at it. And I mean, basically with the CMU being there to take care of some things, you've got to take that budget, and your job is to make it safe first. So the first part of the budget has to go to the police department. You have to make it safe. Then this next part is you got to make it clean. and you've got to have fire protection. Those things, firemen and the policemen need to get paid much, much more. I talked to a policeman the other night. He said he's getting $35,000 a year. He's a 20-year veteran. And I'm like, holy cow. That's no money to risk your life and to go into a building and to be fighting on the floor with two other cops to pick somebody up. I mean, that's just worthless. But we have to find the resources and be creative and find it from other avenues and get it in there. I mean, you know, I've looked at some various different things that I don't know if you can do or can't do, but there's a bunch of money laying around that needs to be moved around so that we can get it all in one place. I mean, I don't know how
the money laying around there.
I'm saying, like, for instance, we have money at tourism, for instance. Let's say tourism. Tourism winds up being a place that we get a lot of overtime for our police officers in. But you could take tourism and you could have their own set of police there, and their job would be at tourism cops. They would be kind of separate from Canton, but still on. They'd be part-timers, and they would do things like secure the square during when you do events and have restaurants at night. When the flea market comes around, instead of taking from the city, you would have those police. They would actually come out of the tourism budget, and they would actually secure the square during the flea markets and during the Canton Christmas Festival and all those things. We don't have, I mean, we need boots on the ground, and we got to find a way to pay for those boots and move it around. And there's money there. So if we open more restaurants, we'll have more money.
Got it. All right, Tim, let's go to you. Talk to me about budgets. I think that you have an understanding of the budgeting process in Canton. Talk to me, how would you as mayor ensure the budgets are balanced, the budgets are fair, and that the proper departments are being funded?
And I agree with Chip on one thing. As far as these past 5 years, not submitting a budget, being audited for that, that's what I was talking about last night. That we're going to be the source of a lot of conversation going forward. But number one, the keeper of the money in the city of Canton has been inconsistent in the city of Canton for 5 years. That means that we have not had a consistent city clerk in 5 years. We got that now. There are components that are coming together that are going to make this situation in the city of Canton even better. Now, I heard Chip say about CMU. CMU has nothing to do with the city of Canton in a fiduciary manner. What they did years ago, that's one thing. What they've done for the last 6 years is a no contest. I don't think they even have the money to assist the way they once did.
It all got stolen.
Well, are you going to let me finish? I never interrupted you now.
Go ahead.
And even as we go forth, he talks about tourism. That's the goal, to build a better relationship with tourism, so we can at least work off each other and see what the things are that they have that we can use, and the same thing that we have that they can use. So it's going to be a collaboration going forth. The days of old won't exist anymore, because they will have a mayor that doesn't mind communicating, sitting at their table, coming to a compromise to make the city better.
Tim, I have a question for you from one of the viewers, Jenny Halford. She said, yeah, Tim did say that there would be money challenges because they didn't do their due diligence. I don't really know what she's referring to. Can you expound on that?
What I was doing was giving a heads up on what's to come. As Ms. Jasmine said, in Ward 1, their city is being audited also. The city of Canton will go through an audit also. And as we get ready to go through this audit, no alderman will be pointed at for lack of anything. I know this is what Chip and Mr. Peeples have been saying about me. Look, an alderman in the city of Canton is part-time. So therefore, if the information is not conveyed to us, we have no idea of what's going on. Although we did have some concerns about going forward with these audits. The current firm that we have, I don't know what they've been doing, to be honest with you, but we're not gonna dwell in the past. We're gonna go forward. We're gonna do the necessary things to get the necessary people in place to fix the things that have been broken. And believe me, under Tim Taylor's leadership, they will be fixed.
All right, very good. I recognize Chip. You mentioned a COA position. You mentioned a mayor's assistant position, and you're saying that those positions are not necessary, and that you would. You didn't say this. I'm asking this. You said that those positions are not necessarily necessary, and that money could go towards funding positions at the Canton Police Department. Are you suggesting then that you would, if you were mayor, you would do away with those positions?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Because I feel like the mayor's responsibility is to manage and run the city. You work at the beck and call of the alderman. The aldermen pass the laws, and the aldermen are the one that vote. And I'm sorry, Tim, but I believe the aldermen should have known where all the money is if they don't know where it is. And you can't pass that off on a clerk, because that's y'all. And y'all approve who the clerk is and everything. And you've got to have a staff that you trust, and you have to move forward, and you have to find the money in other places and bring it in to get what you got to get. But you're responsible for every dollar. The mayor he is basically the garbage man for the community. And the cheerleader for the community. He has to go and make sure that the public works department is working, and he reports back to the alderman, and then the alderman tell him that this isn't working right. So you go over there and find another way, and you have to make sure and manage the staff to make sure that they're doing their job. I mean, that's the mayor's job, and the alderman's job is to pass the laws. It isn't part-time. It's what you have to do all the time. And losing the money and saying it's part-time, it's not a good answer. I'm just saying that.
All right, Tim, to you. What about you? What's your position on a chief administrative officer, a mayor's assistant? What's your position on those positions within your administration?
About 4 years ago, this was a legislative proposition that came down from the Mississippi legislature. We jumped on it, and we do have a CAO. But at this particular point, at the appropriate time, I'll discuss any personnel issues after I'm sworn in July 1st. I'm not going to discuss it here, but after July 1st, I will discuss it, because it's not appropriate at this particular point. We have a group of people who are working diligently for the city at this particular time, and I don't want to have people unsure about anything. When that time comes, we will make the decision, the legislative body of the city, after a recommendation from the mayor. We'll vote on it, and we'll go from there. But at this particular time, I will not discuss any personnel issues regarding the city of Canton.
And that's very fair. And
can I add something to that?
Absolutely respect that. You know, I will say this, and then we'll move to another subject. I will say this. You know, one person can't do the job by themselves, right? You have to have capable people that you entrust, right? One person can't do the job. And I don't think that it is the mayor's job to do everything in the city. I do think that the mayor serves as a management of sorts to make sure that these departments are flowing. So I respect that. And we will move on now to another area. You know, people talk about the beautification of Canton. I want to talk about some public works issues. Canton has a flooding problem, right? The people talk about overgrown grass, can't keep cemetery grass cut. Let's talk about flooding, and let's talk about the beautification overall. How do we address these things that's supposed to be happening in the public works department? Tim, let's start with you there.
Yeah, well, as you know, about 8 months, we dismantled our public works department. I was completely against it, but I'll get the opportunity to revise it. We kind of merged our public works person with our parks and recreation person. But come July 1st, I'm going to go to the Board of Aldermen, and I'm going to request that we open this particular department back up. It would be unfair for me to say anything right now about what I'm going to do, but I will give that tidbit and say, we'll focus on that, because also one thing you know about me, I'm about beautification. As a matter of fact, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I just got an award.
You just got an award. That's right.
Yeah, I just got the award for fighting against litter and cleaning up the city. Over 20 cleanups in 5 years. And, you know, with that, bringing people in to volunteer and help. And I tell anybody, you know, all the success that we've had in cleaning up the city, it wouldn't be done if it were not for one guy who loans his time and his heavy equipment for us to do the things that we do, and that's Mr. Glenn Cotton. I think as we go forward, he's going to be consistent in what we do. He's already pledged that. He said to me, Tim, I want to help in any way I can, and I appreciate that. So come July 1st, I'm going to go to the Board of Aldermen and ask that we reopen Public Works and we push it so they'll know what their duties are, and it is to take care of the cosmetic outlook of this particular city.
All right, very good. Chip, same question to you, brother.
I wonder. I didn't know we had closed Public Works. I mean, that's shocking. I mean, that just blows my mind. But to clean the city, you've got to get people. You got to put them in the streets, and you've got to rely on them. I mean, I hate to say that we are a jobs program for certain families, because that's why the Public Works Department didn't work, because people are related to people in charge, and people were not doing their job, but we were paying them. They're going to wind up getting great PERS, this, that, and the other. They got their time in, but we have to be accountable to the people we hire to do the work. And Public Works is an important aspect of the city. And I know we've taken over. I think we've taken over the garbage thing now. We now are getting our own garbage trucks, but because we didn't notify the garbage collection company in time, we're currently paying, I think, $70,000 a month for a contract or something like that, for a contract, because we didn't cancel it in time according to the agreement. I mean, we're wasting money. We're not keeping up. It's not making sense. But you've got to cut the grass. You've got to mow the yard. You've got to, I mean, when a road gets paved, they paved the road in front of my house. Okay. And where the manhole covers are, it's 5.5 to 6 inches deep to where the manhole cover is. When you do a job, there should be somebody that goes out there and makes sure that they did the job right. And we got 5 holes that'll blow out a tire right now going down a newly paved street. A big old hole. I mean, you have to be accountable for the work that has to be done. And as mayor, you just got to do it. I mean, if it's not getting done, you need to get some new people in there to do it. That's that.
Gotcha. Thank you very much. And Tim, this is a question for you. I want to go back. There was a question or comment. I don't really remember who made it, Dr. J, but it was around, had something to do with Democratic leadership and Tim being there. I do want to give Tim an opportunity to address that comment or question. Talked about CMU, it talked about Democratic leadership. All right, so Arthur Noble, Tim, and I want you to respond to this if you can. He says, I understand Tim is a good fellow, but under Democratic leadership, crime has taken over Canton. CMU has been run in the ground, and how many people buy houses in Canton for the school district? So this is a very convoluted piece. All of the above need to be addressed for Canton to grow and prosper. Tim has been there during Canton's downfall, so why should people of Canton vote for him? That's the question. That last part is what I really want you to address. Tim has been there during Canton's downfall. Why should people of Canton vote for him? Oh man, this is the wrong time to have audio issues, Tim. I can't hear you. Yeah, I want to pause to give him. I really want him to address that because because I have thoughts on the difference between Democratic and Republican leadership. So I want to give Tim an opportunity to address that.
Right there. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
Almost.
Can't hear you, Tim. Oh well, I think he's dropped all the way. So hopefully he'll come back. I do want to give him an opportunity to address that, because I honestly believe in small towns in particular, we've got to get away from
party politics.
Yeah.
Party politics is not an issue, and in this race has not been an issue, as you've noticed. I mean, Tim and I are running, and we've been talking to everybody in town, and everybody is supportive. You know, you've got we both got support from both parts of the community. Go ahead,
absolutely. Tim, you're back now.
I'm back. I'm back.
All right, there you go. And so I guess what the guy was alluding to, that Canton has seen some turbulent times, right? And you've been a part. You didn't necessarily say you were a part of all of it, but you've been a part of some of Canton's bad times or downfalls. And he's asking, why should people vote for you?
Yeah, a good leader will work regardless of how the storm is. And I know, Mr. Noble, it's good to hear from you, Mr. Noble. But under Democratic leadership, we've gone through some things. But I think with this particular election, we've cut off the head of the snake to some degree. And I think we're going to go forward. And I think I've been that example as I sit and talk to people on both sides of the track, both races, to say that I'm going to be a mayor for both Black, white, Hispanic, and other. I'm going to listen to the issues, and we're going to focus on the issues and try to work through them. Let me go back 1 minute. When you talk about all these things with the garbage pickup, look, I'm going to be a leader by example. I get out there and work with those guys in public works. I've been on the garbage trucks picking up trash at 5:45 in the morning time. I get a feel for what they're going through. So I know what it's like, and I can lead by example, and I understand what they're going through. So regardless to what race it is or party it is, Democrat or Republican, I'm going to work as viciously for the city as if I'm one in both, that both parties are in me. I have friends.
Man, he was in it too at that point.
He was going.
Yeah, he was right there. That was good stuff. That was absolutely good stuff. Sometimes it's difficult to do this via phone. I mean, sometimes it works well and sometimes it does not. But he was right there, right at the height of his response. But I will say this, and we'll move beyond that. I think far too often as individuals we put too much stock in party affiliations, right? I think we put too much stock. I think it's ignorant for anybody to think that everything fails under Democratic leadership. I think it's ignorant for people to think that everything thrives under Republican leadership. We've got to get away from that, because when you're elected, you serve everybody, right? And both Democrats have failed and Republicans have failed.
Was it Greenville that went to a straight ticket party where nobody? It was Greenville or Greenwood or one of those towns that did it up in the Delta a few years back.
I'm not 100%.
They threw party out and went straight down the ticket. I mean, and that's an interesting way to do it. And it's just like in Canton, we need to go to one precinct rather than 7 precincts. We don't have enough people voting.
You were right in the heart of your thought. We'll let you close to finish your thought.
Go ahead, Tim.
Okay. Yeah. So as I indicated, I respect Mr. Noble's question. And yes, I've been in the middle of all this. When I got on board, a lot of things were going on. But individual, I don't have one blemish to me. And aggressive. And I am very aggressive. We can do what we need to do to make this a better place if we can. And I understand how people feel. The demise of the city. I was here during glory years, but they were not always so glorified. And we've got to, yes, we can move forward, but we've got to move forward together. Regardless of what the party affiliation is, it's one Canton. And nobody's going to be able to tell from just looking at it whether it's Democrat or Republican. if people are getting out, putting their heart into what we need to do.
Very good. I appreciate that. I
Can you hear me?
appreciate that. Tim, there are a lot of questions coming in, and I will give both of you an opportunity to answer that. There are a lot of questions coming in. People are surprised to hear that Public Works was closed. Can you tell us why y'all made that decision to close it?
Yeah, we had people that wouldn't come to work to some degree. So we had to, we made a profound decision to merge it with Parks and Recreation. So I think what we've done, we've weaned some things out. Now we can restart the process, go through what we call a renaissance, a rebirth of Public Works. And I think as we go this time, we'll find the type of people that want to work and do the cosmetic things in the city and become proud of what they're doing. We can find those types of people. And so I think that's what we're going to go through, a renaissance and getting people, screening people, and people who love the city and want to see the city be a very competitive and beautiful city.
Very good. Chip, you were surprised to hear tonight that Public Works was closed. You think that was a good decision?
That's a bad decision. I mean, but if you don't have people to work, then with the next, you have to find another way. And why wouldn't you just pick up the phone and call a lawn company and get a contract with a lawn company to keep the lawns going? I mean, but you still got to deal with all these things have to be done, but Public Works has to be a part of the city. But if it's not there, you've got to source that work out somewhere. You just can't give up. I mean, the cemetery's got to be cut. People don't want their loved ones out there with grass growing all over them. I mean, it's the truth. And I mean, I don't understand why we didn't work forward in fixing something. And if you can't have the people work and do the Public Works department, then you've got to outsource that some way and keep that going. That's got to happen. You just can't say you give up. It's sort of like the police department being pretty much 9 people that are patrolmen. That's giving up. You know, you've got to make that happen some way.
No one is giving up. We just made a creative move, a legislative and an executive move. That's what we did. Had I not mentioned it, you never would have known. And that's the difference in me. I'm going to be transparent.
Y'all into Parks and Recreation. You didn't close it down. You merged the two together, right?
We merged them together because of personnel. We had more people in Parks and Rec than we did in Public Works. So we merged them together. And yeah, we've been a little slow in getting things done, but we've done well with what we have, and we're going to do even better as we go forward. We got dynamic people working for us, and some of them have been overworked. So as we go forward, we're going to look at the dynamics. And yes, again, I stand by. We made a legislative and an executive decision to do what we did. It's worked out thus far. I've been transparent. I could have hid that. I didn't. I told you. And so as we go forward, I've talked a little bit to the city clerk about what my plans are going forward. We're going to get it done. Believe me, we're going to get it done. And I think these people will enjoy working with me because they know one thing. Kim Taylor will get out there with you and do it with you. I'm going to be a leader who sets the example and the expectations, and we're going to get him done.
All right, so I got one question from Rob for both of you, and then we're going to close out. So Rob says, question for both. If elected, would you look into making the Hollow a tourist area, meaning develop the lots, or do you have to deal direct with the Historical Society for that? Chip, let's start with you there.
Okay, the Hollow, and I think of the Hollow as the Hollow in Hickory Street. And my grandfather had many grocery stores through the Hollow and on Short Hickory and up the road and all through there. And he built some of those buildings that are down there by the farmers market and all that. But and it means a lot to me. You had the D&D grocery, you had the Chinaman store, and this, that, and the other, it was called back in the day. But I would like to see that become residential. And I would like it to be like, I like a brownstone, similar to when you looked at like, when you would watch like the Cosby Show at the front of the Huxtable's house. That's what we need. We need better housing in Canton to start with. But if you took that area, because it's pretty much 2 or 3 buildings on Hickory Street now. And it's historic because of Elmore James and the history that he had there and everything else that went there. But if you could make that into a living community with better housing, because that's the next thing that we've got to do. We've got to get better places to live. We have taken so many years of not building houses in Canton. There's no place to live. It doesn't, and the city limits get bigger, but we gerrymander them to where we don't take in certain neighborhoods or certain spaces because we're worried. In the past, we have been worried about the racial makeup of the town, and that's a reality with Truly. That's just him.
Right. So to the question though, so no to tourism, but rather more housing is what you're saying, right?
More housing, but tourism is big. See, my thing, tourism, I'll expand tourism. We'll have concerts. We'll have.
So I want to let me put this question back up just so that I can make sure you hit that. Okay. Put Rob's question back up, please, Dr. J. So again, here's the question.
Okay, on the Hollow.
If elected, would you look into making the Hollow a tourist area, meaning develop the lots, or do you have to deal directly with the Historic Society?
Okay, on the Historical Society locally, they do have a Historical Society locally. I do know that when you build something with federal money, you have to build it back exactly like it was. Okay, when you don't take federal money, you can do a little bit more things with it, this, that, and the other. But what you're talking about, we don't have buildings. There's buildings there that are like, for instance, the old Rings Hardware. I mean, as much as they want to keep it, it can't be fixed. I don't believe, not with any reasonable amount of money. If you're a broke city, you can't fix that building. And then where the old Guy's drugstore, that's a facade on the front. We could use the facade and build something behind it, but there is no roof. There is no. I mean, you only have where Boo the Bad Man, where his little bar on the end, he rebuilt all that real good. That and the building behind it, it was a little hotel type thing. And then you did the liquor, the guy that came in at David Rich came in and did his thing. There's history there that needs to be remembered, but the history of what needs to be remembered is not there. You've got to build it some kind of way. I mean, you've got, it's sort of like going down to downtown Jackson. There's the end of downtown Jackson where down by the where Trumpet Records and all that was, that needed serious money to redo all that. And I mean, the question is, sue the city. So I get it, and I think one of your points was absolutely correctly. If it's historic, you have to follow rules and regulations, and you can't alter too many things, based on those criteria. Tim, same question for you about creating a tourism spot in the Hollow. Would you support that, or do you think you have to deal directly with the Historical Society?
Yeah, I would support the tourism process. Number one, history points to a vitalized area during one time in the 20th century. There's one particular book on the market right now called The Coming Age of Mississippi. It was during some horrific times in the city, but the Hollow was a refuge for a lot of people. When my grandmother was living, no matter what we did on a Sunday afternoon, she had to ride through that Hollow. What it did was it brought back memories of her young days. She was born in 1925. So that was a heyday. The same thing they were trying to do with Ferry Street and not lose all of that. I think we should take the same step in revitalizing the Hollow in the city of Canton. There's a lot of history there. It is the one part of the city that a lot of things are getting away from. Good food, good entertainment. And as we speak, there have been conversations on the table to look into it. Developers have come out and talked to us, and we're gonna further look at this and see where we can go with it. Absolutely, turning it into a tourism spot.
Yeah, I got family members that spend a lot of time in the Hollow, right? A lot of time.
Yo, I was in the Hollow myself. Don't think our grocery store was right next to the movie theater.
Yeah,
and I remember that all my life.
So guys, listen. So we are out of time. So here's what I want to do finally. Okay. I got two questions for us to close. One question is, what's your 100-day plan when you're elected mayor. And then after that, we'll give you an opportunity to make a final appeal to those that are listening from exit 119, because tomorrow is a big day in Canton, Mississippi. Chip, let's start with you. Your 100-day plan as mayor.
I am tired of hearing about 100-day plans, but the first
Does
thing
that mean you don't have one?
No, I got one. No, I'm just thinking everybody always talks about Trump's first 100 days. So, but the one,
you never heard me talk about Trump's
I know
first
you
100
did.
days.
I know you did. But anyway, the 100-day plan. The first thing you've got to do is you've got to secure that city. That city has to become safe. Then number two, you've got to work on the flooding. You've got to start that immediately. Unfortunately, I was a bad child growing up, but I used to ride, and I had a friend that met me up there for my prayer on the square today, and we were walking around the square. There are culverts underneath that square that you can get in a bicycle. I used to ride my bike around there, and if those things were open, they've got to be clogged up or something. And then you could start fixing the flooding. It floods in places where I used to ride a bike inside underground, the city of Canton. There's a whole world underground there. And I don't know if we don't have a map of the city or what, but the underground infrastructure used to be able to move the water. And it has collapsed or something somewhere. And then we got to get in there and find it. And I mean, we're talking cavernous type places that water would move, but we got to fix the flooding. Because same people's house flood every time, and we act like, well, their house is going to flood, it's going to do it again. They move their stuff out, move their in. You go, why don't they move? Well, there's no place to go. Financially, you just can't move in Canton from one house to another because the houses don't exist, and the people in those houses, unfortunately, don't have the revenue to move. And I mean, these are real problems. So you got to take care of the flooding. You got to take care of the safety of the community. Then you also got to, it's just so much that's got to be done. And you've got to start thinking about the future growth out of going through the hollow all the way to 22, all the way out to the mega site, because that you've got that to be built. And then you've got to build up the interstate going toward Germantown, because that corridor, there's going to be people driving through wanting to eat. And all that.
But clearly you can't do that in 100 days. So I'm going to ask you to tailor it again.
Well,
man.
I got you. You'd be amazed at what I can do in 100 days.
Question, man. Listen.
Okay.
Listen. In your first 100 days, what are you going to tackle? What's your plan?
Okay. My first 100 days, I'm going to start getting the businesses on the square. I'm going to get the town safe. I'm going to start relieving the flooding where I can relieve the flooding. I'm going to work on getting I don't know if it's back, the A rating we used to have. Arnell, when he was mayor, we lost our fire rating. We'd always had a perfect fire rating. Tax and everything went up with taxes on the property. I'm going to work on all of that, and I'm going to figure out a way to get our taxes back down. We just raised taxes across the city, and all this money coming in, we had to raise to pay bills now, I guess, but for the future, money's coming. We got to get taxed down. We start improving the value of the property. People aren't going to be able to pay the taxes in the houses that they have now, because all of a sudden your property value goes up. You're still living in a shack on it, and it's not worth it. And you got to pay taxes on it. And we raise taxes. You got to fix all that. Yeah, there's just so much. There's so much to do.
There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. Tim, to you, sir. First 100 days on the job. What's your goal? What's your priority?
Yeah, thank you. First 100 days, I can tell you first and foremost, there will be a meeting called with the Board of Supervisors. We're going to discuss this crime problem, and we're going to go over and open our arms up to the Madison County Sheriff's Department, because we need them in this city to help us deter this crime. As I said, we boots on the ground we want. It's still not going to change human behavior, but we can deter a lot of this stuff. The watershed, there's a watershed in Madison County that was created, and I'm on that particular board. With the monies that we've brought in to try to eliminate flooding, we found out the $23 to $25 million that we got won't be enough. So we're putting together a plan to go to our senators and our people in the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C., and we're going to ask for $150 million. So I'm already part of that process. And yes, we're going to go get to the meetings. I've talked to Joey Deason over there at Makita, the Madison County Economic Development Agency, and we're going to sit down and start strategizing as to how we can become more attractive to outside businesses. I think the first 100 days of my mayoralship is going to be dynamic. I already have relationships with these people. They know me, they know what I'm about, and they know where my heart is. I have the heart to do this job. I want to do this job. The first 100 days are going to be dynamic days, full of talks, but we're going to be getting results. So with the flooding,
we're going to get better internet in Canton.
I'm
just going to tell you, that's got to happen.
In the first 100 days.
Oh, yes. Day one.
That's a good goal to have. That's a good goal to have. That's good. We'll get him a chance to get back, and we'll let y'all do your closing thoughts as well.
And Arthur Noble is absolutely right there on that comment. We got too much going on, and then we're going to all be in the news. I mean, the Rudy Warnock trial looks like it's on for the 9th. That ought to be interesting.
Yeah, that should be interesting. So let's see. I want him to come back so that y'all can give your final thoughts. Here he comes. Looks like he is coming here. Looks like
there he is.
There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
Oh,
hey man, you got to include.
Yeah, so
you got to include in your first 100 days better internet in Canton.
Yeah, my first 100 days is going to be dynamic because let me tell you this. I've gone out personally in the city and recruited people to jobs in the city. I knew we didn't have a city clerk for a whole year. I went out and got her. And, when the Board of Aldermen knew anything, I had a resume before their face. I had the opportunity to sit back and watch this young lady when she was in her prior employment, and I knew this is what we needed. We had to climb some hills, but we're in the right place right now. There's an attorney over there in the zoning.
All right.
Okay, man.
All right, we got to move. All right, Tip. So we'll let you offer some closing thoughts. We've got to get out of here.
Well, I want everybody to get out and vote. Vote for who you want. I mean, a lot of people say because I say if you want to vote for Tim, fine. I just want you to go vote. I want you to vote for me, but Tim's a good guy. He's running for office. I do think I will make a complete difference for Canton. I will believe that I can take us where we need to go, and I believe I can get us ready. And you have to understand that I do know we've got to bring in people to help us bridge the gap between old Canton and new Canton, and the old people and the youth. The youth isn't racist. The old people in town have a little bit in them, and they think racial thoughts, and they don't notice that it's not the same. It's all, the world is changing so fast all around us, and I don't know what to say. And Canton is fixing to be the center of the universe in the South. It's going to be so big. I mean, I know you think I build things up sometimes there, Othor, but when you go see this $10 billion set, you're going to go, that's $10 billion. You're going to go, holy cow. We couldn't even afford the people. I'm more worried about the manpower to put out there to work. And jobs, everybody will say, you're sweeping the floors. Well, you'll be in so demand just to sweep the floor, you'll be getting $30, $40 an hour probably because there's nobody to work. I mean, that's
I'm excited about the new developments in Canton. I'm very excited about the new developments.
You ride up there and look, you are going to, I mean, I don't know how to explain it. When I did my radio show today, after I've been out there, I don't know how. I mean, I'm usually not a man lost for words. I don't know how to explain that one. I don't.
Good job. Good job. Well, thank you, Chip. All right,
Thank
Tim,
you.
we're going to give you an opportunity to give some closing thoughts to
Okay.
make a final plea.
And keep in mind, Chip and I talk all the time. We've been knowing each other for about 8 to 12 years. When I was on the school board, he was always there. I don't know if he was there to interrogate me or not, but, thank you, Chip. You made me a better person and a better candidate. Look,
Thank
as
you.
we go forward, this is about the city. This is about the city of Canton and who is best fit to lead the city. Based on my experience, I would say the two opponents that are running against me have no experience, no municipal experience. They've done nothing toward the city. They've given the city anything. I hear Chip saying that he's had businesses in the city, but where has your volunteerism come from? When have you volunteered to do anything in this particular city to help beautify it? Look, I don't believe people should run for the top job in the city if you're going to continue to bash every entity of the city. Let's get in there and roll your sleeves up. Let's work with people to make this place better. That's the only way a true leader can come to form. When you look throughout history, and I look at this stuff all the time, those people who don't let the naysayers get in the way, but yet go in and try to provide a way and work hard to change the atmosphere, those will be the people that will make the biggest difference in the world. That's what I'm trying to be, a difference maker. And we're going to put forward the best effort we can with the people that we have. Yeah, there are going to be some changes, no doubt. But to get with those people and make the best changes that we can possibly make to make this city just what it says it is, the city of lights. And by electing Tim Taylor, you'll be putting a bright light back into the city of lights. Thank you, Othor.
All right, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Tim Taylor running for mayor and Chip Matthews running for mayor in the city of Canton. Election day is tomorrow. You get to hire one of these two guys tomorrow, right? So if you vote in Canton, you get to hire one of these two guys tomorrow. So don't take it for granted. Every single vote matters. I want to encourage you to get to the polls 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. And as long as you're in line by 7 p.m., you will have an opportunity to vote. Get past the naysayers, get past the negativity, vote to make Canton better. Thank you guys both for being.
Othor,
Yes,
one
sir.
thing before you go, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I know I've been going in and out. Look, again, I support what Mr. Cain is saying. I know doing that somewhat insurrection at City Hall a couple of weeks ago, one of the people was saying, stay at home and stay in the bed on June 3rd. Don't do that. When you do that, you're telling the 3 workers that were killed in Philadelphia, it's not worth it. Swarner, Goodman, and Cheney. You're telling Medgar Evers the legacy of that. It was not worth the while. You're telling a Dr. King who's working for justice for all, not just Black people. And when you look down in Forest County, Mississippi, Vernon Damer, who was burned up in his home trying to get people to register to vote. Look, if a white male had said what Mr. Blackman said, there will be turmoil in the state. We can't listen to that type of crap. We've got to move forward because we're forward-thinking people. So therefore, on June 3rd, please go exercise your 15th Amendment right and privilege and cast your vote for the candidate of your choice.
But that wasn't an insurrection. That was
said
people that
somewhat.
came.
All right.
I said
They
somewhat.
came there
Chip.
because their kids had been
I
killed.
said somewhat, Chip.
Their kids
Yep.
had been
But listen,
killed.
I gotta say this though. I do appreciate your closing words, Tim. I do appreciate your closing words. I thought it was absolutely asinine for an elected official to tell people to do a sleep-in. I wouldn't necessarily classify it as an insurrection, but I thought it was very asinine. I thought it was very juvenile. I thought it was extremely immature, and it was so misguided, so misplaced. for an elected official to make that kind of statement about staying at home. We should never do that, because if we won't change, no matter how angry we are, no matter how displeased we are, if we won't change, we've got to vote change, right?
Vote. So
please get out and vote tomorrow. It is very important. Canton, you're going to hire one of these two guys tomorrow. Make sure you hire the right person. Good night, everybody. Thank
you, Othor. Thank you, Tim.
We appreciate
Thank you all.
for being with us.
Thank you all. Okay. All right.